Because the party never stopped.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
All right, here we go. Head coach Larry Lee joining us. Final home series this weekend at Baggett Stadium. Hey, Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
You ever catch a foul ball as a spectator at a baseball game?
You know, when I was growing up, I'm not, but a few actually.
A few?
Oh, man.
See, I feel like I went to a lot of baseball games. I mean, probably not as many as you. I mean, this is your job. But I mean,
well, I think some of it was like maybe batting practice before the game. But the one I remember, it was my favorite player. I had like three favorite players growing up, and one was a guy named Lou Brock that plays for the Cardinals. And it was up at Candlestick, and they had a home run derby before the game. It's crazy to think about that, but that's what they did, probably between some Cardinal players and Giant players. And I was probably 9 years old or so, and there was bleachers in right field, and Lou Brock hit one, and it bounced in front of all of the older kids, and I was in the back, and it went right to me, and I got it, and I ran up to the bleachers to my dad, and I gave it to him to keep, safe keep for me.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
And I had that ball for years, and I think it probably went in the batting practice bag at some point. But that was the first one I ever got. But I think over the years, I think it's more so maybe not game action, but more like foul balls and like batting practice and stuff like that. Because back then you could go early, go to batting practice and watch stuff, and depending on how many fans were in the stands at that early.
So you never caught one in game action within the confines of the 9 innings.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Right.
That doesn't.
I think you remember that. So
I remember going to Mariners games, and it was like an hour and a half drive from where I lived to get to a Mariners game. And we would go on buses sometimes. They would get a bus together, or we'd just go. And I'd say, "Let's sit in the foul section." And my dad's like, "No, we're gonna sit in the outfield." Now I know why, because he's a cheap son of a bitch. That's cheaper. But you had a way better chance of getting a ball. I didn't care about the game. I was like 9 years old. I just wanted to catch a ball. And I'd bring my mitt and everything, and man, there'd never be a ball come to us. Like the closest it'd get, like 20 yards. I'm like, I can't run over that far that fast.
I mean, we would going to Mariners games when we were kids. I mean, because it was in the Kingdom, you could never fill the Kingdom ever. Like the '95 playoff run was the only time that the Kingdom ever sold out for a baseball game. Either that or Boeing night. Boeing night was a big night because they would give like Boeing employees a bunch of tickets, and then they would all go to the game. But it was funny because I remember you could go to some Mariners game, and in those lean years, I mean, you're talking about like A's attendance numbers right now. I mean, you're talking about like 9,000 people in a stadium that holds 62.
You'd get a whole section to yourself practically. Be like you and two other kids, and you'd be fighting.
Exactly. I'd be like, okay, let's go to this area over here because there's only 4 people sitting in it, and then we'll get some foul balls over there. And then I had friends. My friends they were quicker than me, and they were quicker jumping over seats than me, and they would get to the balls. But I never got a foul ball, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's too bad. Sorry to hear that.
I doubt that you're going to have the same problem that the Mariners did in the 90s, filling and the late 80s too, filling a stadium this weekend because it's your final series of the season. What are your takeaways from the season before the final 3 games?
We've had a real good year. We started out really slow. We had a very competitive schedule, non-conference wise. And that's what kind of shot us in the foot, where we didn't play very well the first 3 weeks. And then soon as we had one more week 4 non-conference, we won 3 out of 4 against Ohio State. And then we played really well in non-conference. And so far, I think we've won 7 of the 9 conference series, but it's just not quite good enough because we've beaten all the teams, up top. the series with Santa Barbara and Irvine, and other teams are starting to drop off. But those teams just, they swept a lot of teams, and so this is just the last 3 games. We don't have any chance of regional berth or anything like that because of our RPI, and but it's been a really, really good year. We turned it around a lot. I think we have like 33 wins at this point, and kind of reminds me a little bit of 2 years ago when we were 37 and I think 22, and we had Thorpe and Brooks on the team, and same thing. We won 9 of the 10 conference series, but Santa Barbara ran away with it that year. I think we were 5 games back, and so that's the difficulty of a school out here on the West right now. And then next year, the Pac-10 or Pac-12, whatever they break up now, and UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington go in the Big Ten. Arizona State, Utah, I think, go in the Big 12, and Cal and Stanford go in the ACC. So there's no more Pac-12, and so I don't know.
Does that affect? Do you see that affecting you in scheduling and things moving forward?
We'll see. It may help because when there were times where we played 10 or 11 games against the Pac-12, and it really didn't help you because being on the West, you're secluded, right? Everybody's playing each other, and so somebody has to lose each game, and it's really difficult to win games out here just because there's a limited number of teams out here, whereas there's 250 teams back east, and so you can play a schedule that nobody else plays, and so it can help you. So I don't know, we'll see, but it's going to be interesting because like next year we open up at UCLA, and now they're going to be in the Big Ten, so they touch the Big Ten opponents, right? And then we go to Texas A&M, who they were like the number 1 team in the country for a while, so that they're like loaded. We're at their place. It's kind of like playing at Texas. Now A&M probably is a little bit better, but you still have to win games. Like you have these really great schedules, but you still got to win games. And if you can beat those teams, if you can win 1 or 2 out of a 3-game series on the road, then your RPI goes up.
But the good news is for next year, you guys have the conference. This is the first year for the conference tournament, right? So I mean, here you are, a team. You mentioned 2 years, won 9 out of the 10 series. This year, you beat all the teams up at the top, and you what 7 of 9 to this point. And it could be 8 of 10 by this time the weekend's over. That bodes well for the kind of ball that you teach, right?
Yeah, it does. But your main goal is to get a regional berth, and there's a big discrepancy. It started actually. I got a taste of it my 3rd year here when we were really, really good, right? And the 5 pitchers I had were big leaguer, 3rd rounder, 4th rounder, and then we had competent players too, position wise. We had the conference player of the year as a catcher, and we were good. And it was back in the days when Fullerton and Long Beach were like 2 of the best teams in the country. When they were playing, they had 15, 16 guys in the big leagues, like during those years. And so it was just like a machine. And we had a great year and tied for second with Long Beach, 2 games out. And, we still we didn't get in, and that was like the wake up call. And so it's happened a few different times over my time here, but it's getting worse now because it's just difficult. Now, if all of our schools had enough money, everybody from the West would just play the first month on the road and play quality teams, and then your RPI would go up. Like if you look at Ohio State, we won 3 out of 4 against them, but they were on the road the first month of the season, and they can afford it, right? And it's too cold where they are.
They can't play in February.
Season, mid-February. And they're probably 25, 30 slots above us, like ahead of us. And it's just like, it's like stupid.
That is stupid.
The team I have this year is like, we'd be really competitive in a regional. And so if things go right, you could win a regional.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe we're even stronger at the next round of a super regional where you just have to win 2 out of 3. And we've kind of done that all season.
Yeah, there is something wrong with the system. If like Ohio State, does Ohio State have a shot at making the NCAA?
No,
okay,
no.
But they're still.
But they're in a tournament though. They're in a conference tournament.
Right. So they do have a shot. I mean, things.
Yeah. But I think they're like two games over 500, or they were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they sit in their conference, but not that high, I don't think. So, but that's just an example. And there's plenty of those teams that are littered. So, like if you just took the best 64 teams, or I tell you what, whatever you have a lot of automatic berths. So the teams that make the tournament, we're better than probably a little bit more than half of those teams. But that's just not the way it's set up. So it's we'll see. But it's just you just keep on going. You just try to get better each and every day, and that's what we're trying to do this weekend. Try to finish strong.
Long Beach State. We got. Do we have a time change on the schedule? So we're tonight at 6 o'clock?
Yeah. So tonight 6, Friday 6, Saturday 1.
Okay.
So what they do is we decided a few years back to get the season over by Saturday, so the committee can know our final records instead of playing they have their mind made up, right? But if they have to wait for certain games to finish on a Sunday that are not tournament games, and that kind of it's not good for the Big West. So
right. Like say you guys were facing Irvine this weekend or Santa Barbara, then they want to see what the results are, and if they get them by Saturday, that's great. So tonight, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock start, 6 o'clock start, 1 o'clock start. Saturday to wrap up the season. Is there any special ceremonies, that kind of stuff going on for the games?
Saturday, probably half hour before the game. There's a it's senior day, so we have 5 seniors that will be finished with their eligibility or graduate from Cal Poly, one or the other, and usually that's a good number. Like if you have too many seniors, if you have 11, 12, 13, you're probably not great, but because you're losing your. If you're good, you're losing your juniors to the draft.
Yeah.
And then occasionally you have those seniors that have real good senior years, and that it helps keep your team a little bit older and have some experience. But 5 is probably a good number to have for a senior day.
My son was wondering, is it Juice Box or is it Capri Sun at the Larry Lee baseball camp this summer?
I think it's Capri Sun.
Okay, good. That's his favorite.
That's a good one. I've had a Capri Sun forever. Gosh, I love those things. They probably have all kinds of crazy flavors now.
He doesn't like the juice box. He goes for the pouch.
Hey, your Mariners won last night.
Yeah, we're doing good. Brian
Wu, 6 innings, 2 hits, probably 7 strikeouts. He's electric. He watched part of the game while I was doing some work in my office, and just challenging the Yankees with the fastball. So he's good. He's going to be one of the better pitchers in professional baseball. Does
that make you proud when you see one of your former players?
Especially from how they developed when they how they started out as a freshman and how they developed, and usually the guys once they get in the pro ball, the good ones, they just continue to get better. Mm-hmm. That's the way Brian was.
You have a lot of baseball watching to do then, because so many players, advance that enter the Cal Poly program, and it's just a testament to the job that you do and that your staff does with the players that come through the program. But I mean, it's got to be like, you know, keeping the schedule of, okay, who am I watching tonight? It's got to be kind of grueling during the summer.
Yeah, and I don't get a chance to usually, you know, unless it's Brooks, and I try to
right.
You know, watch him as much as I can. But yeah, there's a couple guys I'll keep up on, and sometimes it's tough to remember like who's in the minor leagues, and you know, obviously you know who's in the major leagues, but
who got traded?
Yeah, it's been good. yeah. Well, yeah, some guys like Matthias has been. He's played for like probably 6 different teams, and so he just keeps on, you know, hanging on. So it's great. It's good. I mean, that's what they come here for, right? I mean, you know, obviously the academics in the area is great, but the guys that, you know, you want to recruit are guys that have high aspirations and, you know, want to be major leaguers, and, you know, they figure it out if they have a chance or they don't, you know, fairly soon. But, you know, as long as we get, you know, as long as they get the opportunity to play professional baseball, then we'll, you know, see what happens. If they, like I said, some guys I never thought would play in the major leagues have, just because of work ethic and, you know, how things you know, open up. So it's been great. Yeah, it's good.
All right, well, it's been great catching up with you this season, Coach. Good luck this weekend, and gopoly.com if you want to grab tickets to one of the games. Tonight 6, tomorrow night 6, 1 o'clock on Saturday against the Dirtbags Long Beach State. Name that classic rock tune is coming up next.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Turn it on in the morning.
Every morning.
Come on, girl. And leave it all day long.
Because they're funny, they're entertaining.
Shake that booty. From 93.3 KZOZ.